I'm ready to talk about what I learned during my 31 days of self-tapes in July. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I did self-tapes every single day in July of 2021. And I themed each week differently. The first week was audition questions. So, like when they ask you, tell us something about yourself, or what's something interesting, or what's your favorite food and why. So I did that the first week. And then the second week I did auditions, where it's usually for commercial auditions and they just ask you to do an action. And you might have a couple of lines, but usually they just ask you to do an action, and that was pretty boring, honestly, but it was fun to just explore with all of the settings. And then the third week I did my special skills, so like skateboarding.
Are you okay?
Yes, that was close. Skating, sewing, speaking Spanish. Y la bebida que me encanta tomar diario cuando estoy en México is tejuino. Special skills the whole week. I divided it into 5 weeks in July because technically there was 5 weeks in July. And then the fourth week, that's when it started to get really hard. I did monologues every day. And then the final week, I did scenes every single day. Because I had to film so many different videos, and I also had other things going on in my life, of course, and self-tape auditions that my agent sent, and just so much. I was doing research for the monologues and research for the scenes and things like that. I didn't really have time to take my time during each video, so I was a lot more loose on camera. And even one of my subscribers commented this, that I was able to just be myself more and like show my personality more on camera, which is pretty funny because I try to do that always, but there's different there's just different use, or you act differently around different people, and you're in different moods around different people, or in different times. And during these videos, during the intros and the outros, I was busy and also wanting to like finish this up so I could post it that day. I didn't really have time to sit down and like think about it, or sit down and really plan exactly what I wanted to say, whatever. I was just able to be more loose. And because I had to memorize so many monologues and so many scenes during the last couple of weeks, so the fourth week it was all monologues, and then the fifth week was all scenes, I noticed that my cap got longer, as far as like, okay, I can sit down and memorize something for 15 minutes. Well, now I can sit down and memorize something for 30 minutes, and things just click and stay in there a little bit faster. The third thing I learned from doing self-tapes every single day for 31 days is that I have no excuse to ever say no to a self-tape. Of course, unless I'm like at the hospital or no Wi-Fi or whatever, but in these last 31 days, I actually filmed 30, I think it was 37 or 38. I have to look at my spreadsheet, but I filmed this many self-tapes this month because towards the end, I was self-submitting a lot more, and I was getting also self-tapes requests from my agency. That really shows me that I can make time for it. And of course, the more you practice anything, the better and the faster you're going to get at it. I want to play with the script more. Because I was in such a hurry, I know that a lot of the auditions, I did it and I was like, I need to shoot it and edit it and put it up there. So that's something that I know I want to work on, is just taking my time more for every single audition that I have, really be in the moment, really, play that person I'm supposed to be playing. So just spending more time and experimenting with it a lot more, timing it so that I know how much time I need to allocate for each audition. Get fast at memorizing, that's good, but really working on the text and knowing how much time I need in order to be able to happily submit it. Because the monologue that I did for I think it was day 2 of the monologue week, it was a Handmaid's Tale and it was a dramatic monologue, and it just wasn't clicking. And I was like, I was gonna actually do it Monday, and then I ended up doing it, or Sunday, and then I ended up doing it Monday, because it just wasn't clicking. Like, sometimes for me, I read a script 100 times, or I say it 100 times, and then it isn't until I think about it a different way where it really clicks, where that character, like, I'm actually able to portray that character. So I need to time how much I need for each one, and also I know that it's going to be different for comedic, or it's going to be different for dramatic. So that's something that I'm going to work on. In the beginning of the week of monologues, I was like, oh, let me just show everybody my takes, all of my takes. And that monologue was like a 35-second monologue, and I did something like 26 takes, and that video ended up being 19 minutes. During that video, like even while filming it, I was like, wow, I am so self-conscious because I know you're going to be watching all of this. I am so in my head about it when I could have just played around with it, played it different ways, and not cared about like, oh, I'm going to look weird, or they're going to think I'm grumpy, or they're going to think I'm whatever. You know, like I realized that just the mindset of thinking that you guys would be watching made me do that many takes. And then if you fast forward to the last week, I did like 2 or 3 takes of each of the scenes, and I performed it okay. You know, again, back to the other one where I need to take more time with it. But in general, just knowing that people were watching, I just need to chill out and not care, which I thought I didn't care, but clearly during that video, I realized that I did. But then after that, I did show you guys at least 1 or 2 more times. I showed you guys every single one of my takes. My slates, I have to say my slates got so much better throughout this process because I had to slate so much at the beginning, or even in the past. I was going to say at the beginning of the month, or even in the past. I would do my slate a lot of times, and now 2 or 3 times and I have my slate. I can immediately go to say my slate and not be like, hi, oh, that was too high. Hi, okay, that sounded weird. Hi, my name is Belgica Rodriguez. Like, oh, I said that too fast. Now it is easier to do a slate because slates already they seem pretty simple, right? But you want to make sure that you are pronouncing everything right, that you're putting a pause after your name, but not too long, not too short. And there's a lot of different ways you can do your slate, but now I am at least comfortable delivering my slate quickly versus having to do it at least 10 times. Because I did so many scenes and monologues in the last couple of weeks, I did so much research. That's a really important part that not a lot of people talk about in acting, is that you should be doing a lot of research and you should be learning about people in the industry. So you don't only need to know how to act, you also need to know people's names, what they've done, their style, what they're looking for. So in this research, I paid particular attention to who was casting the show. I didn't pay attention to all of the filmmakers, like everybody that it takes to create these TV shows or films, but I definitely paid attention to the actors. Who are the actors represented by? Is there an agency that a lot of the actors are represented by or were represented when they first started? Who was the casting director? Does the casting director have relationship with any of these agencies or actors? Who wrote it? So a few of the filmmakers I paid attention to, and I was seeing a repetition of like, oh, this casting director actually has done a lot of the things that I really enjoy, and just learning about them so that if I'm ever able to be in a room with them, I can speak with them and know, what I'm talking about. Like, how embarrassing would it be if I met with Allison Jones and I didn't know who she was? Like, that would be pretty embarrassing. Not to say that I know a bunch about casting directors, but I'm learning more and more about casting directors and people in the industry in general and talent agents in LA. So I am trying to learn. Of course, there's a bunch of people. So I am at least making the effort to learn about some, and I am continuing to learn more. Doing this challenge on my own definitely made me realize that I want more in-person coaching, because when you're doing something alone, and even if you're learning, you could be learning so much more if you had professional feedback. I do try to take acting classes or coaching or workshops as much as I can, but they can be expensive, and it's already expensive being an actor. So I try to spread it out, in different times. But this really made me miss having a coach. And because my boyfriend was the reader for all of these auditions, well, all of the ones that I needed a reader for, he's really sweet and he always helps me. And I always say that. He's just really sweet. He's this very, very supportive partner. But I don't want to inconvenience him. This isn't his career. Like, I feel like I would be pretty annoyed if every day he would come home and be like, hey, can you help me really quick? It'll only take like 15 minutes or whatever. Hopefully I can get like an in-person reader that's not my boyfriend soon, because that's an actor specifically, and then more coaching in an audition setting, and more coaching in general. Lastly, the fact that I was able to complete this challenge showed me how disciplined I am. I've always been like this, even since I was a kid. Like when I wanted something, I would work towards it. And even if I never accomplished that goal, like I'm just a really hard worker in general. So sometimes I surprise myself, like when I film 32 videos in 1 month. Plus, you know, other self tapes. Anyways, so yeah, I learned a lot. I would recommend this to you if you just want to learn more about your abilities and experiment, and especially if you want to improve your memorization skills, memorizing a lot, like just anything, you know, anything that you repeat and have an open mind to learning, like it's gonna help you improve. So maybe in the future we can do this together, like 31 days of self-tape. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. It was a lot of work. You know, maybe in the future we can do something like this. Yeah, it was it was a lot. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you watched any, some, all, one of the self-tapes I did in July. And yeah, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. At the end of every video, I feature another channel. This is today's feature. If you would like to be featured on my next video, make sure you're subscribed, like this video, and leave me a comment. Tell me, what do you post on your channel? Do you want a little bit of something?